It's December 18. That can only mean one thing. Happy 3 years anniversary to Argentina, who 3 years ago today played a World Cup final that after that would be remembered to a lot of people as the greatest World Cup final ever played, including neutral watchers, probably especially neutral watchers. Um, One of the greatest experiences of a football game ever because of the amount of goals scored, because of the drama, because of the quality of football, and because of the quality of individual players. And today I wanted to watch the highlights of that, remember it a little bit, and react to it, and just talk about what that day meant for not only for football fans but for Argentina fans. So I'm an Argentina fan, and I watched that final with a lot of nervousism. I was confident that we were going to play a good game, but I wasn't exactly confident that we were going to win it. France, the defending champions of the World Cup, with Kylian Mbappe, with Antoine Griezmann, who's having a phenomenal tournament, with their defense, and with their coach Didier Deschamps, not only a World Cup winner as a coach, but also a World Cup winner as a player. So the experience was there. This team had come from being world champs, one World Cup before, and Euro finalists 2 years before that. So it was important that this game, we would have some type of expectation and some type of, I guess, understanding that who Argentina was going against, who we were going against. As an Argentina fan, we is Argentina to me. And right here, I'm looking at. Let's look really quick at FOTMob. I'm looking at the lineups, and just amazing players, man. Amazing players on both sides. Maybe for Argentina, a lot of relatively unknown players at that time. And today they're among the best players in the world in each of their teams. On the other side, a lot more experienced, a lot more well-known players. So let's talk about France really quick. Hugo Lloris, World Cup champion. At the moment, he was playing for Tottenham. A pretty good goalkeeper, but well-known goalkeeper. This was Theo Hernandez, because remember that Lucas Hernandez was injured, I think, for this game. Upamecano from Bayern Munich. Varane from, at this moment, it was, I think, Manchester United, but Real Madrid legend. Varane and Condé, who at this moment was playing, I think, already in Barcelona. So just four really well-known players, that household names that everybody knows about. Tchouaméni, Real Madrid, Rabiot, I think, in Juventus, and Griezmann in Atleti. Also, three really well-known players. Ousmane Dembele, who eventually wins the Ballon d'Or, although in this moment, I think Dembele, he might have already been in PSG. No. Dembele, at this moment, was he in Barca still? He might have been in Barca at this moment. Olivier Giroud, and of course, Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, second best player in the tournament. Maybe alongside Griezmann, although, arguably the best player in the tournament and arguably the best player in this game, in the final. So, amazing players that everybody knows. And then on the other side, a lot of relatively unknown players. If you're not Argentinian or maybe South American, you don't know much about these players. Emi Martinez was well known for that penalty save, or the penalty saves that he had in the Copa America in 2021, just 1 year before. But besides that, he wasn't really well known. Unless you're an Aston Villa fan or like a really diehard Premier League fan, you'll know him. And really not that much. After this, Emi Martinez becomes a legendary, although controversial, infamous goalkeeper. And today, in 2025, Aston Villa is third place in the Premier League, only 3 points behind the first place. So we're talking about a goalkeeper, a really, really elite goalkeeper. Although a lot of people will not want to admit it, Aston Villa is where they are for a reason. And part of that reason is their captain, Emi Martinez. Tagliafico, who plays in Lyon. At that moment, I think he was already in Lyon. He might have been in Ajax. Otamendi in Benfica. Romero in Tottenham. Although, I don't know if he was already in Tottenham by then. And Molina. Molina from Atleti. So these are players that maybe, besides Otamendi, who played Manchester City, are players that a lot of people didn't know about. Nonetheless, they come out as world champions and with really good performances throughout the entire World Cup. Alexis McAllister, who was at that time in Brighton, ends up being the number 10 for Liverpool. Enzo Fernandez, who at that moment was in Benfica, ends up being a extremely important part of this new Chelsea alongside Moises Caicedo. So two players that from this World Cup to now are considered probably in the top 5, top 10 best midfielders in the world. And then Rodrigo de Paul. A lot of people hate on Rodrigo de Paul. Let me tell you something. De Paul has something, for those who don't know, has something that any team would want. People may call him a diver, an instigator, a fighter. But you know what he is, man? He's just pure energy. He's someone who will do the dirty work. He'll take those dives. He'll get into the players' heads, and he won't stop running. 120 minutes of a World Cup final, and he will not stop running. He will not stop fighting for his team. And that's something that a lot of people don't really consider in this road to the championship and in this road to glory. Not only in this World Cup, but throughout from 2021 all the way to now, 2025. Remember, Argentina wins another Copa America, and a lot of it has to do with Rodrigo de Paul. Until recently, a team without Rodrigo de Paul and a team with Rodrigo de Paul, Argentina is not the same. So, very important player, immensely underrated by a lot of people. Di Maria, to me, the second best player in this generation of Argentinian players, and he he is for sure top 5 best players that Argentina has ever had. Julian Alvarez is known as maybe in top 5 best strikers or most wanted strikers in the world right now by many elite clubs. And then obviously Lionel Messi, best player of all time for a lot. For me, yeah, I could say Messi is the best player of all time. And maybe one day we'll make a video where I argue that against other players such as Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Maradona, Pelé, Ronaldo R9, and the list goes on. But I think Messi has a good argument to being the best player in the world of all time. And then the best player in the world for me is Mbappe, just because of what he produces. He's obviously young, so he's still powerful. He's still energetic. He still has so much potential, and that's crazy for a player that's basically the best in the world to still have more untapped potential. That shows you what type of quality he is. So yeah, I think the reason this World Cup final was so good was because not only did we have goals from top 3 players in the world at the time, but also a showdown, a face-off. What was the story, the narrative here is at the moment PSG and at the moment PSG, but what they represented in the past and what they will represent in the future is basically a showdown of Barcelona versus Real Madrid. A lot of people don't want to pin it like that. I'm going to pin it like that. This is a battle of Real Madrid versus Barcelona. A player that has been wanted by Real Madrid and eventually, obviously, as we all know, ends up in Real Madrid. And a player that was historically the best player in Barcelona's history. A lot of Real Madrid players, ex-Real Madrid players, Varane, Tchouaméni, and then you have Camavinga. You have a lot of players. I think Theo Hernandez. Did Theo Hernandez play in Real Madrid? Or I might be mistaken. Probably not. But it's just. And let's be real, anyone who was rooting against Messi is most likely a Real Madrid fan and was rooting for France. the players that were the people that were rooting for Messi that were not Argentinian are obviously either Messi fans and probably Barcelona fans. So it was kind of like a Real Madrid versus Barcelona, even though it wasn't. It would be foolish to deny that it was, because I seriously think that it was a battle of not only France versus Argentina, but a lot of club, I guess, sentiments. So yeah, man, amazing. And then the substitutes that came in: Thuram, Colomouani, Camavinga, Coman, Fofana, Konate, and Axel Disasi. Now you might be asking, why were there 2, 4, 6, 7 subs if you can only make 5? Well, once you go to extra time, if you've made all 5 of your substitutions within the first 90 minutes, you get to make an extra one. And if you have to make a substitute due to a concussion, you get an extra one. Now, the concussion player that they took out was Rabiot. And that's why they were able to make this 7th. And this was during the 96. I guess this was already extra time. So maybe what I said about the 5 players within regular time might not be accurate. But yeah, he was taken out. But he was taken out due to a concussion. So it was a concussion protocol substitution. Now, that's fine, because in the end, Argentina wins this game, and that's fine. But, man, if Argentina were to have lost this game, it would be something that I would question. I would heavily question, because the foul that Rabiot receives, or like the injury or the contact that Rabiot receives that gives him the concussion, happens a lot before they sub him out. So they kind of just... They're like, oh, you got hit in the head at some point. Pretend your head still hurts, and we'll sub you out due to concussion. And you see it. When he comes off, he's like, oh, man, my head. But he had been playing for like 25, 30 minutes after that supposed head injury. But whatever. That's a conversation maybe for another time. On the other side, Marcos Acuna, Gonzalo Montiel, Paredes, Lautaro, Germán Pesela, and Paulo Dybala. Let's talk about the France substitutes really quick. Marcus Thuram and Colomouani come in the 41st minute, meaning not even at halftime. Before that, Argentina was winning 2-0, and Didier Deschamps, and this is why I consider him a great, great coach, does something unthinkable. You remove 2 players before halftime because you're losing 2-0 to get a new dynamic going. And it would have been one thing if, France goes down 3-0. Or doesn't come back. But the fact that they came back, it just goes, and because of 2 of these players, because Marcus Thuram was a nuisance. He would constantly switch places with Mbappe. Mbappe would go here, Marcus Thuram would go here, Muani would go here, and they would constantly rotate, making it extremely difficult for Argentina's defense to be able to mark them confidently. Eventually, Eduardo Camavinga comes in. He comes in kind of like a left back, but goes into the midfield, where at a certain point, I think France just starts playing with 3 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 3 strikers. They play like a 3-4-3 kind of thing. And then Fofana comes in the end, just, I think, is it for Varane? Who's he come in for? They say at the 69, 96. Oh, yeah, he comes in for Rabiot, I guess. Yeah, because Camavinga came in as a midfielder. You had Coman come in as well. So, and then Konate also. These 2 are defenders. So just more defenders, just to take off the load from players that were tired already. So, and they all did really well, man. I think France did a really good job. I mean, they came back. They were a penalty and a half away from being champions. Back-to-back champions. Marcos Acuna comes in for Di Maria. This is something that a lot of Argentina fans have openly discussed, openly talked about, and maybe criticized about Scaloni. And it's that you had Di Maria, who was so difficult to mark, because what happens is Di Maria, until this game, was playing on this side. And then we were playing this says 4-3-3. Yeah, we kind of played a 4-3-3. But usually we were playing kind of like a 4-4-2 with Di Maria being kind of like over here and forming a line of four, and then Messi kind of like a roaming 10/false 9, with Julian also being kind of a false 9 in terms of coming back and defending, but also making runs for the attack so that Messi can find him. He's very explosive. He's very quick. He's very fast, very pacey. So that was the game plan for Argentina in much of the World Cup. Although a lot of things changed, like we had different tactics against Croatia. We had different tactics against Netherlands. Maybe a conversation or a video for another time. But basically we were playing a 4-4-2. Let's just say 4-3-3 for the sake of the argument. But Di Maria was playing on this side. Because he's lefty, he hooks and plays the left, and then Messi kind of has a 10. Maybe I think in the beginning of the World Cup we had Acuna here, which is more of an attacking fullback, so it provided kind of a wing over here, Di Maria the wing over here, and then Messi and Julian would play more central. So that was kind of like the game plan. What Scaloni does is that 1 hour before kickoff, he announces that Di Maria will be starting. I think Di Maria didn't even know that he was going to be starting. But he announces that Di Maria will be starting, just doesn't say where. So what does Didier Deschamps think? Okay, he's most likely going to start on the left, where he's been starting the whole time. What Scaloni does is that he's going to start on the right, I'm sorry. That will start him on the right. Scaloni starts him on the left. And this was a surprise to even Di Maria. He didn't expect to play, and not only that, he didn't expect to play on that side. But he's like, look, man, this is where we can do the most damage. Why? Because the right is going to be complicated. The right side of the team is going to have to mark Mbappe. So Molina was tasked with marking Mbappe, and so is Romero, and KC would become more central. De Paul, right here, becomes the player who will double mark, who will help in the marking of Mbappe. Like I said, Rodrigo De Paul, he runs a lot. He's a very fast, pacey player and an energetic player. So he was always constantly helping Argentina mark Mbappe. Ironically, this is where the goal comes from. A bad marking from Molina, a distraction from everybody else because there was a lot more midfielders at the time, or a lot more players to just keep in consideration at the time, and Mbappe scores the goal. I think it's a pass by Marcus Thuram, if I'm not mistaken. A give and go. Really good goal. One of the best goals, and we're going to look at the video now. But yeah, Di Maria, in that case, is playing here on this side, so that's somebody that Conde is going to have to mark. Conde had a nightmare game against Di Maria. Griezmann was playing more like a 10. It was a 2 center mids and Griezmann as kind of a 10, and then you had the 3 attackers. So this Griezmann being here is kind of inaccurate, I would say. So basically, Di Maria was having his way with Tchouaméni, with Rabiot, with Condé, with Varane, until the 64th minute, where you take him out and you put in, because we didn't have a substitute left mid, we didn't have somebody who can take Di Maria's spot. Remember that Nico Gonzalez, now playing in Atlético de Madrid, he was Di Maria's substitute, and he gets injured right before the World Cup, so he doesn't get to come and play. And I think that was a huge loss for Argentina. And because of that, when Di Maria comes off, he puts in another left back. He has 2 left backs at that point. This is a different player. The minute Acuna gets put in, at this moment it was Kolo Muani / Marcus Thuram. They are unleashed, because this is not the same type of player as Di Maria. This is not the same type of player that you're going to have to mark. So it basically frees these players. And that's what happens, man. After that, the game kind of changes. France takes over a little bit of control of the game, and that ends up happening. That was the mistake right here. 64. I think he could have just kept playing until the 85th, 80th. Make a sub at 10 minutes left, put 5 defenders, 10 minutes left, and you're good. He could have played what would have been 10 more minutes of Di Maria. He was just having the best World Cup game ever. He could have kept playing. It wasn't like he came off injured. He was injured in this World Cup. He was or not fully fit, let's say. He wasn't injured. He was just not fully fit. And he didn't play in much of the games. But the games where he did play, he was phenomenal. He gives the assist to Messi for the 1-0 against Mexico. He has a great game against Netherlands in extra time. Completely transforms Argentina. He doesn't come back until the World Cup final, and he starts. And he has a phenomenal game. Arguably the best player on our team. And he takes him off, I think, way too early for a player that isn't the same. It's not the same function. And I think that's where Scaloni makes the mistake. Then again, he comes out world champion. He comes out Copa America champion after that. He is the leader of one of the most competitive national teams in all of history. Before this World Cup started, we were about to beat Italy's record for longest undefeated streak in international history. So it just goes to show, and we're back-to-back champions. Copa America, Finalissima, World Cup, Copa America, all undefeated. Not all undefeated, but I'm saying, like, it's just we've been basically champions and defending champions since 2021. So it's amazing what he's done. So I can't really, go as far as criticizing him that much, but it is something that us Argentina fans questions. Like, damn, could he have lasted maybe 10 more minutes? Who knows? And sure enough, 10 minutes later, or maybe 15 minutes after the sub, and France is 2-2. Let's look at the stats really quick before we go to the video. This right here, 54-46, this is a surprise. But obviously, this is the game in its entirety. In the first half, possession was almost 60-40. And you felt it. Argentina was dominating the entire game, and especially this entire first half. And it ends up 2-0. We're going to talk about the penalty later, whether it wasn't a penalty. To me, it was a penalty, and I'll show you why. But in this first half, look at this. Total shots, 6-0. Expected goals, 1.4 only. This is a weird stat, but okay. 3 on target. 2 big chances. 0 for France. Look at this. This is terrible. For a first half, this is terrible. Accurate passes, we almost doubled these guys. Fouls committed, the same. We had more corners. Total shots, look at that, dude. It's just 0 throughout. And that's why Didier Deschamps deserves so much praise, because he did something that a lot of coaches wouldn't do. He takes out 2 of his players, Dembele and Giroud, his striker and his right winger, and puts in 2 players that are more attack-oriented, but more kind of they're like Dembele, but Dembele was having a bad game. Giroud is more of like a target striker, and he needed some more mobility for the team. And look, you see it right here. 56-44 completely takes the possession away from Argentina. 6 total shots to 6. So we still had 6 more shots, but in the second half, but they also had 6 shots. It became a much more even half, and then maybe a little bit less even because they had more passes, 1 more big chance, and they had 2 goals because they win the second half 2-0 also, just like we won the first half 2-0. Fouls committed, they had to foul less, they had more corners, a lot more activity. Look, where this was 0-0-0-0 throughout, you have shots inside the box, total shots, it's just a completely different look. However, once we're tied 2-2, we go back into the first half of extra time, and Argentina reestablishes 60-40 almost percent possession with more chances. Got our head in the game again. 72 accurate passes to 43. Fouls kept going, but look, back to low numbers. Argentina was once again trying to win that game, and in the second half we score the goal, but so does France. France a little bit more activity. And there you have it, man. And it ends up 3-3 all. And then we go into penalties. Let's watch the highlights, man, to the greatest World Cup final of all time. I think a France fan will say probably not, because it hurts them. It would hurt me too, to be just so close and just by details. And I think it's frustrating also that you had one player, Kylian Mbappe, who was there, who knew the occasion, and everybody else was kind of And he has a interview, not an interview, he has a video inside the locker room where he's like, yo, are you guys not realizing where we are? It's a World Cup final, bro. Like, these guys came to play, and we're here. Like, this only happens once every 4 years. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of players, for most players. And we're playing like we're just letting them play. And he was right. And it just so happens he has to carry the team on his back. 3 goals in a World Cup final. Yeah, 2 of them are penalties, but you got to make them. And you got to make them against Dibu Martinez, who knows how to block penalties, clearly. As he will show not only in this game, but also in every penalty shootout he's had with Argentina. He's 4-0 in penalty shootouts. Against Colombia in 2021 Copa America semifinal, against Netherlands in the World Cup, in the 2022 World Cup quarterfinal, against France in the World Cup final, and against Ecuador in the quarterfinals of the Copa America 2024 in the United States. So 4 out of 4. So you're talking about a player that against Colombia, he blocks 3 penalties. Against Netherlands, he blocks 2. Against France, he blocks 1, and the player misses 1. And against Ecuador, he blocks 2. Dude, so somebody who, like, is good at blocking penalties. And, one-off penalties, he's a little bit less accurate. And what I mean one-off penalties is like a penalty during the game where it's just one player gets the penalty and like that. And he's more accurate, and he has better stats in shootouts where it's more of a mind game. But still, man, if Mbappe is taking 2 penalties, and in the end, including the shootout, 3 penalties, you're gonna block one of them, or you gotta block one of them, and Mbappe makes all of them. Just incredible individually as a player, individual performance. This is, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, I haven't seen every World Cup in the world, obviously. I've seen from 2006 to now, but from what I've seen, and maybe a lot of people will agree, it's one of the best, if not the best, individual performance for a single player in a World Cup final. And we saw it here. So, guys, let's watch this, bro.
The foothills of greatness. From the Andes
now,
to the
I'll
Alps,
tell you right now,
from River Plate to the banks of the Seine,
I was so nervous.
Our planet unites.
I was so nervous. So we got the lineup right there. And our lineup. You see right there, it's a 4-4-2 that they play.
The final of the 22nd World Cup. France again, or Argentina. Alvarez. What a pop! Di Maria.
All right, right here.
He's got the ground. He's got
Okay, right here. We got to talk about this, right? Let's talk about this really quick. A lot of people will say that wasn't a penalty. Right here.
Di Maria.
Ready?
Away from.
Okay. There is contact. 100% there is contact. Let's see if they show the replay. Nobody argues it. Nobody on France argues it. Like, they asked the referee, yo, what the heck? But, nobody really argues it. He kind of even doesn't argue it right here. Okay, right there. He puts the foot, hits Di Maria's foot. It hits him. Now, is it enough for him to fall? No. Let's be real. But contact in the penalty box, you got to take the contact. And then, not only that, does it unbalance him? It does. It will unbalance a player, especially a player that's going the speed he's going with the little space that professional defenders provide you. One little off balance, and the ball, the next kick of the ball will go a little too ahead, and all of a sudden you lost the ball because someone took you off your balance. Right there. So it's not easy to see, bro, but let's see if we could slow-mo this. I've seen so many videos where people are like, oh, this is BS, this was a dive, and, they're gifting Messi the World Cup. I want to show you. Let's go in slow motion. Okay, check this out. All right. First of all, touches his arm. Okay, go back. We're going to get real detailed with this. Okay. First of all, he touches his back, right? Right there, he clips this foot. Okay? And when he clips this foot, he hits this foot with the side of his leg. That's when he feels the contact and he hooks his... It sounds like an excuse. And, I'm here laughing about it. It's very detailed. And Di Maria does something smart, is that he feels the contact, and what he does is with the contact, he pushes his leg, and he's able to hit his own leg in the process. He helps him trip. It's a penalty. I think it's a penalty, but it is what it is. Let's go back to regular speed.
A breath, a heartbeat.
And 1-0. Okay. It's arguable. Look. It's arguable. It really is. And that's why there's so much controversy with this penalty. But what I think that we're not realizing is the speed that a player is playing. Everything's easy in slow motion. But the speed a player is playing in, just a small little touch can take you off your balance. And just one little bit off balance in a professional setting with the limited space that defenders give you, it makes the difference. It is what it is. I've seen penalties awarded for way less. Let's continue.
A goal forevermore. Perhaps his moment for infinity. Messi.
Oh, lovely.
Damn, they don't even put the whole play. Whatever. We'll do this again another day, maybe next year. This was an amazing goal. I love the detail of Giroud blowing some snot off. Now this right here, there's a video about this, about Di Maria talking about this, where and what I absolutely love is that our coaching staff for Argentina are 4 former players that shared the national team with Messi when Messi was debuting. Some of them in 2006, some of them after in 2007 or 2008. But basically it's Lionel Scaloni, who played the World Cup in 2006. He was a substitute right back, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have Walter Samuel, which goes to the squad either 2007 or 2008 with Messi. He didn't play the 2006 World Cup. Then you have Ayala, who was in the 2006 and 2007 Copa America. And then Pablo Aimar, which, if you ask Messi, is one of the players that he most looked up to when he was growing up. So you have 4 ex-players that played with Messi, but not only that, they're former players, all of them having studied coaching, but also all of them playing under some of the best coaches of all time. In Argentina, Alfio Basile. In club, Samuel played with Mourinho. And I don't know that many other coaches that they played under, but, it's players that have had experience in the international level, in the club level, and in the club level at all levels. So you're talking about Walter Samuel, Champions League winning Inter Milan defender, and then you're talking about the lowest being Scaloni, but also knowing what it is to be a player that is not the most elite and how to make that count in a setting like this. We had players that maybe were not the most elite that played in the World Cup final, that played in the World Cup, and who better to understand what it takes to be that type of player for an occasion like this than someone who, who was not the best player in any of his teams. So right here, what I was saying is that Di Maria, they had explained to him, hey, Lloris likes to come out of the box when he's a 1v1 versus a player, and he'll slide. And he'll slide in a way where he'll cover the entire goal flat. So you're going to have to chip him if it comes to that. And that's exactly what Di Maria does. This pass by Messi is amazing. But look, that's a chip. Dude, you know what it takes to do that? This is already second half. This would have been amazing. This would have been amazing. Lloris is a great goalkeeper.
Forcing Koundé back.
Di Maria. You see, Di Maria was driving them crazy. What could have been 10 more, 15 more minutes of Di Maria? This should have been a goal. This is crazy. A really good block by Rabiot and by Upamecano.
Messi all craft.
That should have been a goal.
Alvarez.
This should have been a goal too. This could have. This was more of a penalty than the one against Di Maria in the beginning of the game. This could have been a penalty, and they didn't call it. So when I want people that say, "Oh, Messi got gifted and Argentina got gifted and all of this," and they made up penalties. There were penalties that we deserved that weren't called, especially in this game. So, and throughout history, I'm not even gonna get started, but that could have easily been a penalty.
Slung in by Antoine Griezmann. Nudged wide. Mbappe conjuring a bit now, driving through and firing hard.
Nice. This is when Mbappe started getting really scary. I mean, he's scary when Messi's starting to defend him.
At walking pace.
Ole.
Messi. Fernandez.
So many chances we had to make.
Over the top by Mbappe.
This is where we start making mistakes, and this is due to overconfidence. Too casual is what sometimes I say. Is that Otamendi gets distracted and he lets this player catch up to him. Instead of grabbing the ball and just kicking it out or even kicking it to the goalkeeper, he thinks that he can body the player. What he doesn't understand is that this player is so fast that he's just going to literally run around him, win it, pulls him, and it's a penalty. This is arguably the same amount of penalty as Di Maria because he feels the contact on the shoulder and he goes down here instead of here because the contact is from outside of the box, but he decides to fall here in this moment of the box. Is it a penalty? It's a penalty. There's contact in the box. There's no double standards here. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. But
he's got a penalty. Look, he's got a way back for France.
There was no kick of the legs. There was no tripping. At least Di Maria got tripped by his legs in a game where you need your legs. In this game, he's being pulled back, sure, a little bit, but with the force and the speed he was running in,
Mbappe.
It's kind of a dive.
Compelled, obliged.
France just might at the 80th minute. At the 81st minute, not even 90 seconds later.
Mbappe.
Boom. Thuram. Okay. That goal right there, look at champs. That goal right there, in my opinion, this is my opinion, nobody has to share it. In my opinion, this is the greatest World Cup goal I've ever seen. Ever. I've seen build-up goals. The 2-0 in this game was amazing. I've seen the 2006 goal of the tournament was Maxi Rodriguez against Mexico. Another goal of that tournament could have been I believe is the 2-0 versus Serbia and Montenegro. Is it the 2-0, the 3-0, where every single player of the team passes the ball to each other. Everyone touches the ball, and it's amazing goal, back heel assist, and upper 90, just nasty toe blow almost from Cambiaso. I've seen amazing goals. I've seen the goals that Cristiano Ronaldo scored against Spain in, I think it was the group stage of the World Cup 2018. One of the greatest games I've ever seen in a World Cup. That one also finishes 3-3. But this goal, for what it meant, for the moment, but also the technique, the dude does a give and go, gets it right back, and instead of controlling it, he just one touch volleys it into the bottom corner. Of course, Messi wanting to kill himself at that moment. That face right there, that celebration, that face right there of Mbappe, that would give me nightmares. If we lost this game, that face would give me nightmares for years, still today. And it does still. That I remember the face he made, that scream into the crowd at the 2-2, and I was just, damn, is this really happening right now? Is this really going to happen? Look at this. Boom. Boom. That's a huge mistake by Molina. Let's see that one more time. That's a huge mistake by Molina. Amazing goal.
He's got round the back here, Kingsley Coleman.
Okay. Right here they set a foul. Gave the advantage. Makes the pass, gives the advantage. This was super smart right here.
He's rolled it in here for Kolo Muani. He's chased his own ball. Kolo Muani. Oh.
Called a handball there. See, like, stuff like that, man. You know, we're lucky we didn't get those calls as well. McAllister didn't get his call. This could have been a golazo. This could have been the one to end it in the 90.
Out for Coman, who would gladly, I think, have played on then, actually. Yeah.
He's already with Acuna. Di Maria out. This is extra time.
Messi. One more is Montiel. Messi sought to wriggle himself. Hernandez. Paredes could open up here. Acuna.
Yeah, you see the difference between Acuna and Di Maria if we had him there. I don't know if we would have tied if France would have tied the game if Di Maria stayed. This was an amazing play. Martinez should have one-touched it. Then Montiel gets saved by Varane. Amazing. I think Lloris would have gotten it anyway. Right here. Lautaro had such a bad World Cup, man. Such a bad World Cup from Lautaro, and it sucks because then he becomes a hero 2 years later in the Copa America in USA, scoring a goal in almost every game, including the final, and winning the final winning goal. No penalty. And right here, here's a 3-2. On. There. If we would not have made this goal, Lautaro having taken that shot instead of passing it to Messi would have been a disservice to football, a disservice to the best player in the world. Luckily, it bounces off. Boom. Ends up right there for Messi. But it should have been a pass and a Messi tap in, I think. Right here. Boom. That should have been a tap. That's some BS. If we don't make that goal, man, I think Lautaro becomes the enemy of the state. Easily. But it goes in, and we don't think about that. What a bad World Cup by a player. By a player with such quality. Estudiantes. Nice. These guys crying because we're winning. And later on, they're going to be crying because they tie again.
He's gone crashing to earth. These are desperate moments.
Paredes. Paredes is also an underrated player, man, because what he gives to this team, what he gives this team off the bench. Handballs are weird, bro.
Mbappe.
That's a conversation for another time, too. Handballs. Weird. That face too, man. Not only killing Mbappe, but Ethan Mbappe looking at his face, just like, oh my god. Can't believe we let the lead go twice. And the same thing happened against the Netherlands. This is ridiculous.
This is epic and some. Is there time for one more? France drive. Mbappe drives.
Oh, this was so close, dude. He touches it, it might go in. But not only that, he's expecting him to touch it. The minute he doesn't touch it, it keeps going, and Dibu's already too far in. Oh, that was so close to. Okay, he was offside. All right. This, right here. The save of the century. Save of the World Cup. The crazy part about this save, man, and this shot and almost goal is what I'm about to show you right now. Look at that pass that he can make. And Mbappe gets 4 goals in a World Cup and wins the World Cup. He wants to do it by himself. That's fine. Glory. But look at that, dude. All you got to do is pass it here, and it's a 2v1 versus the keeper. Look at that. It's just the... We're so lucky, man. This pass right here, and it's a 2v1 versus the keeper. Look at that. Look where Dibu is. It's just a tap. Little pass, and a tap in for Mbappe. Decides to take it himself. Saves it. Then this is low-key underrated right here. That header right there, that's so underrated. That header. Because it's half a second reaction time.
What a stop!
And look,
What a
Mbappe right
stop
there
by
asking for it.
Martinez.
He's like, dude, you could have passed it to me.
Martinez waits in the middle.
And here, right here,
Oh,
terrible
Martinez wide.
header, bro. But we could have won it there, too. Now, he would have let that go. Enzo was there. Now, this part right here, bro. Look at this. Look at this.
Kylian Mbappe.
Talk to me about an individual performance. Just someone so
Thank you.
inevitable.
What can you say but thank you?
Yeah. What can you say? But, bro,
They were done.
amazing.
10 minutes from time.
Amazing
It was
performance by
Messi's
Mbappe.
final.
Amazing.
Mbappe steps up first.
Here it goes. He touches it,
And Mbappe
but it goes in. Look
rattles
at this.
it
Look,
in.
look, look. He literally, bro,
On his day of
it's just
no
the
error.
strength, the power of that shot helps it go in. This, in my opinion, a lot of people are like, oh, man, Messi's so cold. Oh, he's so composed and stuff. Nah, bro. Nah. I know Messi. I've known him forever. I've known him since the day he debuted in a World Cup, and I've watched almost every single one of his games since then. Especially with Argentina, I've seen every one of his games. Messi misses penalties. That's always been one of his biggest weaknesses. Not that he misses them. Sometimes he misses them, but sometimes they get saved. Why? He doesn't go for power. He goes for kind of like tricking the goalie and just guessing where the goalie's going to dive and where he's not going to dive and shooting it there. I think a player like Dibu, and thank goodness he's on our side, but I think Messi versus Dibu in a World Cup shootout, in this World Cup shootout, if Dibu was French, Dibu would have blocked that goal. I'm convinced. That was, for me, that's not a good penalty. People are like, oh, man, he's so cold, he's so composed, he's so chill. Nah, dude. That was Lloris's fault. He didn't even move that much. If he was just taller, I don't know, dude. That was risky, bro. And that was a nervous penalty kick. I'm going to be honest. To me, that's a nervous penalty. Look how close to the middle that is. Nah, bro.
Boys.
That's crazy. But whatever. He made it. Cool.
Coleman.
Save. The second one. Mbappe, you're not saving it, but the second one, let's call it the first after Mbappe. Now, Dibu told Dybala, yo, after I save one, you've got to go down the middle. And he does it. And he almost gets saved because he goes down the middle, kind of inching towards where the goalie dived. Misses it. Dibu provokes him, kind of makes him nervous. Young player, I think at that moment, Tchouaméni was only 22. It's tough. Right there, he hits it. Lloris touches that ball. Kind of doubted himself, maybe.
Nowhere to hide.
Colomwani is like, yeah, bro, block this one. Yeah, right. And then Montiel, the best penalty taker in the World Cup. They have a joke about Montiel where it's like, dude, you have taken so many penalties and no goalie ever knows where you're gonna hit it. Like, he's just so good at making the goalie guess wrong. But here we go, man. World Cup champions. I have 2 right here, but we have 3 now. What an amazing moment. What an amazing day. Because for me in Miami, it was daytime. What an amazing thing to watch. You know, I sometimes thought about it. I'm like, damn, am I going to be able to see Argentina be World Cup champion at any time in my life?
Since Maradona and Mexico.
And it happened, man.
Finally, is a nation's new throng of immortals. Scaloni will be fated. Messi will be sainted. The trophy is passed into the hands of genius.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Look, he's holding up 2. Up 2. Like, yo quiero la copa. All right. I'm going to give an opportunity to haters. Because this is something that I honestly hate that it happened. And I think if haters really knew this, they'd have one more thing to say. But I'm here for those hot takes. I've been obsessed with the World Cup ever since I saw my first one in 2006. Obsessed to the fact that I can tell when a World Cup trophy is real and when it's not real just by what it looks like. In a lot of pictures that Messi is holding up the World Cup in the celebrations, the World Cup he's holding is the fake one. And meanwhile, Di Maria was holding the real one. Di Maria talks about it. He's like, oh, when Messi was celebrating on top of Agüero by the goal, and he's like celebrating with the fans, he's holding a fake World Cup trophy that somebody gave him. Dude, it would be funny if it was in an attempt to steal the original one. But basically, FIFA executives and officials were monitoring the original trophy. And they were next to Di Maria while he was holding it. He's like, why are they next to me? Like, Messi has the World Cup trophy. He's like, nah, dude, the one he's holding is a fake one. You're holding the real one. So while Messi is there with celebrating with the fans, the World Cup, haha, he's not even holding the real one. And a lot of the pictures of Messi celebrating with the World Cup, it's a fake trophy. And the worst part about it is that I can tell every time. I'm like, dude, that's the one. That's the fake one. Like, you could tell it's fake. If you really pay attention to it, you could tell it's fake. The real World Cup, man, it's undeniably gold as hell, and it's solid gold too. The fake one, you can tell is just different. It's different in texture. It's different in quality. You can see the shine. It's just completely different. This one right here is the real one that he's holding, obviously, because this is the one that the FIFA gives him. But during the celebrations, at least with the fans, and he's on top of Agüero, and everyone's chilling by the goal and stuff, that's the fake trophy. And why do I say that the haters are going to love it is because a lot of haters say that this was a rigged World Cup, so it would only be poetic that Messi would be celebrating with a fake trophy. So, yeah, enjoy that while you guys can. But yeah, guys, that's all we got for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope that in 2026 we get to become World Cup champs again. And with Messi, without Messi, we're going to analyze it, obviously, every step of the way. But with Messi or without Messi, I hope that we can lift the trophy again. It would be cool if it's with Messi. But honestly, it would be super cool if it's without him too. Like, just saying, yo, we won it fair and square this time without, Infantino's baby or whatever haters want to call it. It would be nice. It would be a real STFU to the haters. Before we do that, I just want to I want to look at one thing. This lineup. Age. This is cool. He's going to be 34, 33, 34, but he's a goalkeeper. It's fine. He's going to be closer to 37, 38. He's going to be 38, 39. He's going to be closer to 33, 34. This is going to be tough, especially because we don't really have a backup left back. It would be Acuna, who was 31 at the time. He's going to be 34 also, very old. But look at this. Romero. He's going to be 27, 28 years old. 27, 28. He's going to be 31, 32. He's going to be 25, 24, 25. Okay? 26. 26? Yeah, 26. Because remember, it's 3.5 years since this World Cup to the Summer World Cup. So it could be between 26, 27, 25, 26. He's no longer in it. And this is Messi. But look at the players, the important players we had. Romero, Enzo, McAllister, Julian are all going to be in their prime for this next World Cup. Who else do we have here? Montiel was pretty young, 25. I didn't know that. Lautaro was 25. So these two players are going to be basically in their athletic prime as well. He's going to be a little bit past his prime, or like right at the tip of it. Dybala, I don't think Dybala is going to the World Cup. This guy's already out. And we have a lot of new players. We have Thiago Almada, we have Nico Gonzalez, we have, hopefully Mastantuono or Garnacho. One of them, has a good enough rest of season, and they can join the fold as well. We have players like Nico Paz, who, young, up-and-coming, just really, really quality players. So, why not? Why not think about what could be with these players in their prime, with one World Cup under their belt, a championship World Cup under their belt, with the pressure off of them, and just being able to enjoy this World Cup the way maybe they weren't able to enjoy this one. Watch out for Argentina 2026, man. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Till next time. Thank you for watching. Amazing.